What's going on, guys? My name is Kevin, and in today's video, as you can see, I'm not at my usual setup. I'm actually at my university, and I don't have a class till the next 4 hours, I think. So I decided to make a video on cutting versus bulking and what I really think about the two. Now, when it comes to cutting versus bulking, I feel like everyone has their preferences and there's pros and cons to each of them. And that's really what I want to get into in this video. Now, personally, I've only been on a cut one time and I'm currently in my first bulk. So I don't have the most experience in the world, but I feel like I've been through both of them enough to know what I like, what I don't like, and how I handle each. First, let's start off with cutting. Now, when it comes to cutting, personally, I think it is easier than bulking, but that's just me. I don't like to eat a lot of food all the time, especially if I have to force it down my throat.
Pause.
The less food I have to eat means I get more time to do other stuff like work on my career, work on my schooling, work on my mental health, something else. I just hate spending a long time eating. And if anyone knows me, I am a slow eater, fairly slow eater, which I don't really regret. I like being a slow eater. My food digests easier and I get to enjoy it more. So all that is fine, but again, it's a time waste for me. I'm also a guy that moves around a lot, so cutting is overall a lot more easier for me. For example, I'll do a lot of extra cardio by going out and playing basketball with friends or something like that. And when you're bulking, that kind of stuff can somewhat hinder your progress. I guess you'll just have to eat those calories back in order to maintain your surplus. But again, if I was cutting, it would just put me into more of a deficit and make me progress faster. So in general, the way I live my life aligns more with cutting than it does with bulking. And obviously everyone's gonna be different. Some people love to eat more and they move a lot less, so bulking for them is gonna be like this and they're gonna really struggle with cutting. But for me, that's just not the case. Additionally, when it comes to cutting, I think the results that you get from cutting are much more satisfying than the results you get from bulking. And there's a couple reasons for this. The first reason is that you lose fat quicker than you gain muscle. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard that you lose fat quicker than you gain muscle. And because of that, you're going to get results faster, and that's constantly going to keep you motivated. That's one. Another thing for me is I rarely notice myself getting bigger. It takes a long time, and it takes a couple people to tell me like, hey, you're getting bigger, for me to like really focus and be like, oh yeah, I am actually. But when it comes to cutting, I notice every little crevice of fat that goes missing once I sleep and wake up the next day. And that just keeps me motivated to just keep going. And for number 3, I personally like being lean and having more of an aesthetic body than being bigger and having more muscle. And obviously I would take the best of both worlds if I could, but realistically it's going to be hard to achieve that, especially naturally. So if I had to choose one, I would probably just choose to be aesthetic because I'm already a pretty small guy as it is. So I don't know, but that can really go either way. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to cutting. I think I said everything I wanted to say. Besides that, the cons of cutting is just, going out to some sort of a function, like you're going out with your friends or maybe you're going out with family. It becomes a little more iffy and you might get paranoid or anxious here and there. You might not be able to enjoy yourself as much. But again, once you see those results, I feel like none of that is going to matter, especially because your cut is going to be temporary. You're not always going to be eating the way you eat on a cut. So that's pretty much the only con I can think of, as well as I guess you're always hungry, which personally doesn't really bother me. Hunger is not such a big worry in my life. And if I'm hungry, I can always just eat something very low calorie. So it's not really that big of a deal for me. Alright, now on to bulking. Honestly, the one thing I really love about bulking is how much strength you're able to build in such a short amount of time. Like when I was cutting, I could barely lift any weight, and when I started bulking, I started exponentially progressively overloading my weight for every single exercise that I would do at the gym. And that to me was really fun. I felt like Superman or something like that. It was so fun. I was getting strong. And on top of that, I felt bigger too. I felt like I had more mass, I had more weight. My body took up more space no matter where I was. And that feeling is really good. I guess you could say I felt more filled out in a way. Because when I was cutting, I basically created the blueprint for my body. And when I'm bulking, essentially it feels like you're creating the mold for your body and you're filling it out and actually making the statue. Another thing about bulking, you can eat so much food. Now, this is obviously a good thing. Who doesn't like to eat food, right? But the thing is, sometimes once you get used to that, it kind of becomes a nuisance, at least for me, because there's times where I'm like,
I don't really feel like eating,
but I gotta get those calories in, and that starts to become really annoying. And especially when you consistently have to keep upping your calories to maintain your surplus, it only gets harder and harder and harder as you're gaining weight. So that's one thing I don't like about bulking. So even though being able to eat a lot of food is nice, it kind of feels like a dual-edged sword. And again, like I said, bulking results are very slow, but when you do get those bulking gains, they feel really, really nice. Also, I forgot to mention, but when you're cutting, you spend a lot less money on food, which is something I really, really like. And when you're bulking, you're gonna spend at least, I don't know, maybe $50 to $100 more on groceries per week. Or if you're eating fast food, I don't know, it could be maybe $20, $40, $60, $80, $100 more per week, depending on how much you eat. But yeah, you're gonna have to spend a lot more money when bulking, but obviously that makes sense, so it's fine. And when it comes to the time waste, again, bulking just makes me waste more time because I have to eat more food. Whereas when I'm cutting, I'm not eating as much food, so I'm saving a lot more time overall. Another thing, I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but for me, it's kind of hard to take the bulk seriously. And not in like a gym kind of a way, but a nutrition kind of way. Like, I feel like I've been slacking on the bulk a lot. Like, I've been dirty bulking, that kind of a thing, you know? I'm just a little more lenient on the foods I eat. Whereas when I was cutting, every centimeter I was measuring and making sure I'm eating exactly this and everything perfectly. But I don't know, it's something about it. It's like when I was cutting, I felt like a beast, but now that I'm bulking, I feel like I kind of lost that inner flame. I don't know, maybe that's just a me thing that I need to work on, but I'll try to talk to some people and see if that's the case. But yeah, people, that's probably gonna do it for this video. I think I said everything that I wanted to say about cutting versus bulking. But my final message to you is whether you're cutting or bulking, try to take it as serious as you can because the gains from both sides are absolutely immaculate. No matter what, just try your best, control what you can control, and forget about what you can't. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out. Peace!